Most people think notebooks are outdated. I think they're missing half of every digital system. And in this video, I'm unboxing my new physical partner to my Obsidian brain and showing you why this tiny notebook changed how I think, decide, and build. You'll want to stay with me because by the end, I'll show you the exact loop I use to turn my messy thoughts into real output. So here's what I'm going to show you in the next few minutes. The number one mistake made with most digital systems, why paper and writing analog fixes it, how you can combine your physical tangibles with Obsidian, and how you can copy this system tonight. And it starts with this. So I'm super excited and I'm about to share and transition over. So this is the system here. I used to believe the solution was better tools. Sure, you have Notion, Obsidian, templates, automation, and somehow I felt scattered. My thinking was organized, but it wasn't alive. And what was the mistake? Again, trying to organize my thoughts before allowing them to exist. And here's where the pattern starts, where I started to recognize something. The people who move fastest didn't always have the better apps or the digital systems or the productive tools. They had a better system of capture, similar to what I'm seeing here, and I'm about to unbox this. But this is what I've been excited and what I'm using, and I'm showing you one of the many digital systems. I won't go into those. Those will probably be for future videos. These are traveler notebooks, passport size, brand new, empty. And empty is the most powerful state that any notebook system can really be in. Because when it's empty, now you have the expression of your brain. You have an ability to take what's inside of your head, to put it into a physical, and you decide what the notebook is going to become. I live in Obsidian. I build second brain systems. I've been building them for Tiago Forte and many of his students, and I have done this for the last 5 years, 6 years maybe. But with a little notebook, you take charge, and it changes. Here's some of the research. So as we're doing that, I'm going to start unpacking it. Here's what happens when you open up and start transitioning yourself from relying solely on physical notebooks that don't do much for you, but instead you combine them with a second brain system. Studies show that writing by hand actually improves conceptual understanding. And not only that, memory gets better because you slow down your thoughts and you're able to open them up just enough to make it visible. Like I said, paper has a unique property in our mind where we're rewiring who we are and what we do. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this unique mechanism by first showing you what's possible. If you're in anything into the travelers community, you know how hard it is to get one of these. In fact, we had to drive, and we even drove more than an hour to go. I live in the LA area, but moved down to San Diego, searching for a similar system. But in reality, what these physical systems do, as I'm going to unpack this top cover, and as you could tell, it's super well designed, it's Japanese. They present you with an ability to take the signal that's inside of your mind and start to create it as a system loop. And that's what I'm calling my signal to system loop. I'm going to open it up right now, but I'll show you exactly what this works like in a second. But look at this. Isn't this just wonderful and beautiful? So you're presented with your outside, and look at this. This is, I think it's the blue color, but everything about this, it is the actual size of a passport in the US. This is the wonder. Paper, white plain paper or colored paper or dot grid paper, what this is doing is it's capturing the raw signal of your mind. And you need this. You need the raw prima matter. You need this ability to take what's inside, to put it into something physical, something that starts to be with you. And then in Obsidian, you convert it into structure, which I talked about in my other videos. This isn't that video. Structure then is able to turn it into decisions and output. But this is the step most people skip. Yeah, I get it. Super valuable to have it on your phone. I mean, I also capture on my iPad, and I have the pencil, and I can talk more about that in other videos. If there's interest, let me know in the comments below. But I chose this reason, this size, which is super small. It's the passport section, because here's the rule. If it's not with you, your best ideas are never going to make it into any system. This notebook, as small as it is and as awesome as it's looking, is how I'm going to go and move, and I'm going to shift over just to share some of these super cool details here. This system is kind of like a doorway, as you see this, and I see it like that. This is the point of leverage. I'm able to make faster decisions, get better writing done, have less mental noise, and have a more usable Obsidian note system, because what most have forgotten is you're not just using Obsidian for the sake of using it, you're actually giving life to your ideas. Your second brain, the creation behind it, wasn't just to be a storage place where you dump all the facts and things you collect. We're talking about leverage. And the key is many of us are pushing, think about this as a door, we're pushing so hard trying to solve problems, when in reality, it could be opening up a new door if you knew the right point of where to turn the lever. And so what I see here, I don't just journal, although I do have a lot of thinking around journaling, and I'm going to talk in some of the other videos. Again, I've written an article called Inner Limits. It's on the Forte Labs, and I can bring it in and reference it. But my point behind these systems is quite simply, I want to capture ideas. I want to capture questions, friction, pattern. And this, by the way, isn't fully assembled. It's being defined as we speak. But I wanted to bring you along the journey early enough so that you could see how we go ahead and create it. What's really cool about this, I'm already liking it. I've bought several different versions. So what you see here is the Traveler specific brand. And I also bought another little notebook, because I don't know if you feel or experience this. You can be paralyzed in wanting to use these little notebooks in the most perfect way. But in reality, you need your cheap, simple, raw expressions. And for me, I love dot grid. I've done bullet journaling and I love using that too. But I also have developed my own system, which is very much so as follows. Create at least one page per day, star anything that matters, and then the elements that need to make it to Obsidian, you transfer them over. In Obsidian, I basically take my ideas and put them into an inbox. But these inbox will eventually become projects, they become content, they become principles, again, insights. And that is how I make these systems come alive, right? I take them from here and I put them out into an Obsidian system so that they don't actually die. But okay, let's start putting some of these in here just to kind of start feeling really what I'd like to see is how many can I fit in here? I'll definitely have like a scratch pad. So that's, I'm seeing myself using that actually, and I have that here. What's kind of unique about these, again, and I showed like in my setup, I've got my notebooks. I also bought extra rubber bands, but from the looks of it, I may not actually need them. I don't understand Japanese, so good thing that they have instructions in English. What we're looking here is when you're able to take all the notebook systems and combine them, you start to define patterns. Better input equals better output, plainly simply. And you do need to have to go through the messy kind of middle to understand what that looks like for you. Before you try to fix a system, you need to develop the system. And this is going to be very individualized and customized to you. So going through each of these, we have the line paper. Let's take a look at what this design, check it out. You've got your actual passport, line paper, journaling. I like it. It gives me the structure. I find line to be invaluable when I need to have some kind of structure. Blank paper, similar to what I already have, so I won't open it. This is just a backup, but it's what comes already pre-installed in the system, which is nice to know. Let's take a look here at the Passport 06. This is the diary. I believe your second brain system, and by the way, your physical part is your second brain system. Obsidian is a great way of representing it. Here what we have is a diary, but in this case, it's a monthly planner. And what's neat is I'm noticing it's not timed stamped. So wow, this is going to last for a good number of months. And what's neat that I saw is at the beginning of the month, you can actually have days. 14 months, that's what's included. There's a world map, blank pages, and 48 pages total. Cool. Time base for me, I think it goes to the front. Let's look at this daily, weekly breakdown. All right, and by the way, if this has been all over, I'm just talking to you who are using Obsidian, Notion. You are deeply probably interested in physical journals. If you stick around so far, it's because maybe you're considering buying and you're wondering, what should I use? Pick something. For me, I've decided to invest into this system and I'm going to be using it for at least the next year. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I do like the at a glance. This reminds me very much of like the bullet journal. We have that. And again, very cool. The focus is on travel, so I appreciate that. So we have monthly, which I tend to have first in my systems, then secondary. And then it looks like we have our little piece of paper here. So we're going to use our third system here. By the way, I'm coming from the PKM background. I have not looked at any other video when it comes to traveler's journals because I find they're too long, right? And I'm creating one myself. But what's really cool about it is, okay, look at how neat and satisfying this feels. This is leather, which over time is only going to get better. But what I see here is already a system that I will be carrying around because it has my time-based events, it has my raw thoughts, it has my super raw, unfiltered, like messy, I don't care what goes in here because they're super cheap and I can replace. And I've got myself my rubber bands that are going to give me the flexibility in systems, which at the end give me the clarity to be able to think, to create, to easily fit into my pocket, to pull out, to know and have that sense what is going to complement my digital second brain and Obsidian system. So takeaways here. It's late, it's at night, the house is quiet. While most people are scrolling, I choose to open a page and I use my time to focus on what is physical, what I can actually move with. Choice compounds. And choosing to invest into a physical system that will serve as a real world counterpart to what you're doing digitally is how you become and you elect yes for your future self. I don't think in apps, I think in layers. Paper is layer 1. Obsidian, Notion, other PKM tools, that's level 2. Action is level 3. And sometimes you can jump from paper to action without having to increase the friction and resistance that some of these digital tools have. So what's next? Well, in some upcoming videos, I'm going to be showing you how I use Obsidian as the inbox for these notes, how one page can become content, and how you can make decisions faster when you keep and close the loops. If you want a second brain that actually produces outcomes, subscribe. And comment loop if you want me to share the Obsidian template that's going to accompany these ideas that are yet to be born and they're in the process of being formed. This notebook is small, but in reality, it's just the first domino. And where will that domino end?